Hey there, welcome back to the Genuine Life Podcast, where I and other genuine souls gather each week to encourage, inspire, and share stories in hopes that you will live your best, most genuine life unapologetically. Thank you for being here and vibing out with me. Now grab a drink, a pen, and something to take some notes, and let's start the show. Hi! Did y'all hear that vibrato? No, I'm kidding. How are you? Oh my gosh, I've missed you guys so much. And, I really do have podcast police out there. I've had people messaging me, asking me where my episodes are. So first of all, shout out to you guys because I appreciate you. And that's exactly what this episode is about. I feel like I'm doing these a little too often, but I feel like you guys understand, like life is a little weird. And it happens, right? And it is what it is. But I'm here. And I hope you're doing well and maintaining. I hope you're healthy. And, the summer's here. The world is starting to open back up. People are vaxxed and waxed, and some people aren't, and that's fine too. And people are just out here living their best lives, and I hope you're one of them. So a couple of things before I get into this episode. I shifted things around in my office, and this might sound a little echoey. I don't know. You let me know. I could hear it. I don't know. I could hear it, but it's all good. I'm still trying to fill up my office. Many of you know back in May, I moved into a new apartment. And, it takes time to decorate and fill things in and all that good stuff. So it might be a little echoey, but I think it's all good. But anyway, I wanted to kind of catch you guys up with what I've been doing out here swinging my 28-inch bundles out here in Atlanta. I've been busy and, really just trying to get acclimated with everything. I think we last touched base in May, right before I moved. And my parents actually came out to visit the weekend of Mother's Day, which also happens to be my father's birthday. And so they came out here to visit, and it was so cool because many of you do not know this, but my dad had a really, really bad time with his back. It's been years. We're talking about well over 3-4 years. He had already had 2 back surgeries, had just completed a third, and it just, it was just terrible. Back and forth to the hospitals. They still couldn't figure out what was going on, and it had been over 2 years since he, really was able to travel, and it was just so beautiful to see him here, number one, but smiling and just having a good time, and it was his birthday and then Mother's Day, and so that was just everything to be with them while they were here. And so I spent a week with them, and they kind of stayed with me and at my sister's apartment. So I just really immersed myself with them. So that's really why one episode was missing. And then I said, well, you know what? I'm going to do another episode the following week when they leave. I'm going to get myself together and get back on track, and we'll be good. And then I got sick. And I was like, okay, maybe this is my allergies, because I have really bad allergies since I moved to Atlanta. And I was like, okay, this has to be allergies because I don't get sick. You're always in denial in the beginning. And then I also live across the street from a construction site. So a part of me was like, okay, maybe all this dust and everything is kind of getting to me. Because at first I was just blowing my nose a lot and sneezing. So I'm like, this has to be allergies or something. But then I lost my taste and my smell. And I was like, I better not have this COVID. And thankfully, Google allows us to order these test kits. So we can test ourselves in our home and then send the kits out and get the results back within 48 hours. And so I did not have COVID. So I just assumed at that point I had a really bad case of the flu. So I was down and out for a good week and a half. And it was crazy because I still had energy. I didn't feel sick at any point. But I just was sneezing, blowing my nose, and of course lost my taste, which really pissed me off because your girl likes to eat. So that was just too much for my soul at that point. And so the first day I had a taste of anything, the first thing that I could taste was a cherry, and I almost lost my mind. So I was super excited and feeling much better, much better. Thank God. And so, yeah, that was like the month of May. And then, June hit and work. I kind of left out of that onboarding cutesy phase. And then like stuff started getting real and it got busy. like busy. And so I was like, okay, like shit ain't cute no more, So yeah, I got, life started happening and I was like, I gotta focus, I have to work. And I was also out here in these streets. Like, I don't know who I thought I was for a second. So yeah, I was just out here living, y'all, just living. And I kind of want to take this back a little bit. So many of you know, or you don't know, I posted, everybody does, most people do the LinkedIn, super excited to announce I'm headed to blah, blah, blah. And they share wherever they've accepted a job offer. So I've done it before, but I did it this time with Google. And I had also attached the podcast episode to that post as well. To date, that is the most listened to episode. We are literally 200 plays away from 5,000 downloads. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but just back in March, I had announced that we had reached 3,000 downloads. So that should give you an idea. From March to May, we've had 2,000 new downloads, whereas it took me almost a year to get to the 3,000. Mind blowing, okay? So with that comes a whole new audience and attention, right? And y'all know me. I'm very low key. Or if you don't know me, I'm very low key. I don't like being the center of anything. But I think one of my gifts is to talk to people and not necessarily being the center of anything, but just being around people is a gift for me. And so it caused that post to be seen over 1 million times. It had over 25,000, I think, likes and close to maybe 8,000 comments. And it drove my connections requests and followers from I think I had maybe 2,500 or 3,000 to almost, I'm definitely almost close to 9,000 now. And once I approve the people who've been waiting, I'm definitely going to clear 10,000. And it is just, it's mind blowing to me. It's crazy and it's exciting at the same time. And so I want to really make sure that I am responsible for what I say behind this mic. And not to say that I'm going to be auditing anything at all, but this is different, I think, because I have messages now from people who I never thought would be listening to my podcast and are sharing my podcast. People who are video chatting with me in Australia that have told me that they've listened to my podcast, or literally have a notebook full of notes of things that I've said. And so it really brought it all into perspective, how careful we have to be sometimes when we put anything that we say or do out there, because there are people who will see us and we have to be responsible for what we say. And so, not to say that I never was on this show, but it really helped remind me that this is super cool to be on this podcast and to be able to share my thoughts and my feelings with you all and be vulnerable in a safe place, because that is all that I've ever wanted to create on this show. It's just a safe place for people who, specifically empaths, people who are just genuine, loving, kind, people who maybe sometimes don't feel like they always get the best end of the stick in this world. I want you to feel like you can come on this show, listen, and just have a friend, someone that you can laugh with and just enjoy, 30 minutes with. And so I just wanted to say, I said all of that to say welcome to all of my new listeners, new subscribers, and just really the OGs, the people who have been listening since February of 2019, or 2020, I'm sorry. And I just really appreciate it. It's really cool. So with that being said, I've been feeling all over the place. Okay. I don't know if it's this Mercury retrograde, which I just learned about not too long ago. I don't know what it was. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way too, but I felt so disorganized. I felt like my time was being managed by others. I felt like my calendar was not my own at one point. And I'm going to talk about this in another episode. I'm actually giving you all 2 episodes today. But as a recruiter, you want to help everybody, and I can't. And so that was kind of bothering me too, because I can't possibly respond to every single message that's being sent to me. And so that was kind of getting to me, and then just everything, right? I was tired. And that is the reason for the title of today's show. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? And, you know, we all know that this can be answered for hours at a party. We can go back and forth with somebody, but I'm talking more in terms of energy. And for instance, I'm a creative, and I'm also an empath. Woo, okay. And with that comes the need to replenish my energy after feeling quote unquote depleted. However, I get my energy from being creative. Okay? So what do? I need my creativity to get energized, but I need energy to be creative. Right? So you see where I'm going with this? I don't have a deep answer for you. I don't. So if that's what you were hoping for, I don't have it. But I do want to tell you to do exactly what I've done, and that's nothing. If I have nothing to say, I don't say it. I'm not going to get on this microphone and waste 10 minutes of your life by saying, yeah, I don't have nothing to say today, y'all. Hope you have a great weekend. That's just not my vibe. If I don't have anything to post on social media, I'm not posting it. And some people might say otherwise. They might say, well, as a content creator, you need to post anyway, post anything. And I'm just like, for what? If I mentally cannot even bring myself to post anything, no, I'm not doing it, And so I encourage you to do the same thing. I think it's time for us to break this mold of what society wants us to do with social media. Social media has to work for me. I don't work for social media. And I get it. I may not reach the billions and millions of people that some of these social media content creators, reach, or I may not have, brands backing me up. But that's okay. I think as long as you stay in your own lane, everything that's meant for you will be for you. And yeah, it just works for me. It just works because now once I rest, I'm on fire now. I got 5 episodes in my arsenal. I'm ready to go. I'm excited, and I got a system in place. And I think that that's what's important. Once you take the time to really figure out what you need, you're able to invest that time back into yourself, therefore being able to invest it back into others in a meaningful and valuable way, And so with that being said, I just want to say y'all are the best. Again, you're some of the most loyal and patient listeners around, I swear. And I think it all comes down to us being some genuine folks. We all know life is life, and life happens, and things, it's going to go down, So I wanted to give you guys some pretty cool updates. I'm starting to make some appearances, guys. So you may have caught me maybe 2 weeks ago on Facebook Live. I was on my friend Adrian's show where we talked about mental health and a little bit of my story. And she has an amazing product called Abstract Spice. And you can actually put it on everything. It's amazing. I'm going to link it in my show notes. Super cool. But I was a guest on her show about 2 weeks ago. And this Monday, June 21st at 8 p.m., I am going to be live on YouTube as a guest on the Speak Up Sis podcast with Angel Charmaine and my best friend as a co-host, Charnel Williams. And we're going to be talking about mental health and entrepreneurship. And you guys know that mental health is something that is super important to me. And entrepreneurship is as well. But they do go hand in hand, And if you don't handle one correctly, you can mess around with the other. And so we want to talk about it. We're going to take a deep dive into it. I would love, 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 love for you to support, because this is new for me, this whole live space, being live. So you can head over to Speak Up Sis on YouTube, and you can subscribe so that you don't miss, obviously, when we go live, and turn on the bell, or just jot it down, add it to your calendar. I'm going to add the link in the show notes so that you don't forget. But yeah, I would love to see you there. Love your support. It's this coming Monday at 8 p.m. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm also going to be going live on June 26th with a young lady that reached out to me on LinkedIn from that post, actually, that went viral. And she is going to allow me to come on her platform and talk all things HR. And so I'm really, really going to take some time to try to hit on a lot of those points that some people, reach out to me about, that I can't get to everyone. And I'm hoping that I can address a lot of the questions during that time too. So more details to come on that live. I'm very excited about that opportunity too. So I'm excited. I think there's a lot of great things happening. And now that I have like this little cutesy system in place, I think I'll be able to take on a little bit more. But I'm excited, and I'm thrilled for what's happening, and all of these doors that are opening up, and opportunities too. So I really just wanted to come on here and say, hey, and happy Juneteenth. I think this is a really cool thing now that it is a federal holiday. Take the time to learn. And I also wanted to encourage, everybody, whether you're a person of color or an ally, I want to encourage you, do not be ashamed to ask questions. I had never heard of Juneteenth ever until I moved to Texas in 2017. Ever. Never, ever heard of it. I had no clue what people were talking about when I was walking the halls of Google. They were excited for Juneteenth. They kept talking about it. And I was like, what are y'all talking? Like, what is this? Having barbecues and planning things. And I had no clue. And a part of me believes it's because I grew up in the North. It just never was talked about. I don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. So I didn't know to research anything. You know what I mean? So yeah, I share that to say nobody's perfect. I'm Black and I didn't know about Juneteenth. So don't feel bad if you have to ask questions. If you're an ally, get with somebody that could, sit you down and chat, have an honest conversation. I think that that's where, dialogue is so healthy, when we can have honest conversations and just be real with one another. So take some time to reflect and learn. This is also a fantastic time to support Black-owned businesses and creatives. I'm afraid for many companies that are going to now use this as an opportunity to run weird promos and sales. And I want to shout out Calpac. I had actually purchased a fanny pack from them not too long ago, and they sent out an email this morning about Juneteenth. The subject simply said, Happy Juneteenth. And my heart dropped, because I'm like, Lord, I hope they're not running a promo on like their luggage or anything. And when I opened the email, I was just pleasantly surprised to see there was no promo. It was just simply an email educating their email newsletter crowd, their fan base on Juneteenth. And they were providing resources to learn more, as well as links to events in the LA area, both virtual and in person. And I thought that was just a really cool opportunity that they took advantage of. So yeah, great opportunity to support Black-owned businesses and creatives. But I love y'all. I hope you're doing really well. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Make sure you let me know that you're tuned in and that you're excited about what's to come too. I love hearing from you. And speaking of, let's make sure that we're connected. You know that the best way to stay connected with me is on Instagram at Genuine Life, and on LinkedIn. You can, if you just type in Jennifer Jones or your corporate cousin, I should pop up. And also don't forget to leave a review, share, like, and subscribe so that we can keep spreading these positive vibes out in the world. And until next time, beautiful souls, cherish your peace, meditate, journal, and remember, you're amazing.